Welcome to your second video. So this is your abstract right now. Now I'm keeping it very short because I'm trying to, this is on purpose. Migratory waterfowl are now the primary enzootic vector. I'll tell you what that means in a second. For highly pathogenic avian influenza, hemagglutinin 5, neuraminidase 1, viral incubation and dispersal. These are vocab words. Along the North American Pacific Flyway. Okay, that's the West Coast Flyway for migratory waterfowl. And then the way this reads, I'm going to read it again. Migratory waterfowl are now the primary enzootic vector for HPAI H5N1 viral incubation and dispersal along the North American Pacific Flyway. All condor nesting and release sites lie directly in their path. And that's true. So there are 6, it's kind of hard to, somewhere between 5 and 7, to put it that way, condor nesting / release sites. The reason I said it's somewhere between 5 and 7, it's really more like between 5 and 9, because some of these have been closed down and some of them are abandoned or they've been moved. But basically, you have a cluster north of San Francisco, kind of up closer to halfway to, you've got a cluster up there by San Francisco, not north of San Francisco. You got a cluster by San Francisco, a little south of it, and then you've got a cluster north, 2 clusters north of Los Angeles. That's what I meant to say. One of them's a little bit more north, and then the other one's kind of due north or a little bit due northeast of Los Angeles. These are 2 different release sites. I believe one of them is called Pinnacles, like the top of a mountain, and the other one is called San Luis Obispo. It doesn't matter, I'll show you the list later. And then you've got a hyphen, Utah-Arizona. I usually just call it the Arizona, and when I'm saying all this, it's called flocks. Okay, there's like 5 to 7 flocks of condors. Okay, they released them, and 5 of them or 4 of them were released. 5 of the flocks are in California. One of them is in Baja. It's like Baja, California, but it's Mexico. It's property in Mexico. And then there's a flock that stretches between Utah and Arizona. Okay? And that's it. So I guess you could say 3 states. You have condors in California. That's where the vast majority of them are. And then the vast majority of the condors that are still in confinement are actually at the Los Angeles Zoo and the San Diego Zoo. Okay, and there are different agencies that handle this, but there's a California. It's at the Los Angeles Zoo, the California Condor Release Fund or whatever it's called. Maybe that's it. And then there's the one that handles the Utah, Arizona. That group is called the Peregrine Fund, and that's because condors are a type of falconiform, and peregrine is a type of falcon. So the peregrine, that's actually the title of a famous lyrical prose novel that kind of reads like poetry about the peregrine falcon. Beautiful, beautiful words. It's called The Peregrine. I'll get it for you so you can read it. You need to read it in print. It's a beautiful book. All right, so we have now who's monitoring all this? Well, certainly U.S. Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Department of Agriculture, and this is probably then the zoos that have the confined birds. And here's the update, Emma. So this year, I'm still trying to figure this out. If there's at least 6 that have died in California, and 20 have died in the Utah-Arizona flock. So the hard part is actually finding updated information about this. There was just a release done on August 25th from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, but their reporting platform, either I haven't found the right link or the reporting platform just it needs help, because they randomly post reports, so it's not a regular thing. And then the reports that they post, sometimes they don't have links to the long article about it where you can dig into the data. Sometimes it's just like a little paragraph, a one sentence paragraph, basically, like a long run on sentence. And they're focused on vaccinating the condors. I'm going to show you the article I was reading before. Okay, go here. So condors have had fast track approval for being vaccinated, and I'm going to show you California Condor Recovery Program. That's what this is. All right, so this is the website where you can find these updates. All right, probably. So the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Incident Command Team is who handles this, and they're talking about vaccinating the birds. So they first did vaccination trials on black vultures, and then they did trials on the Andean condor and the California condor vaccination trials. The problem with this is this. It's called antigenic drift. Okay, let me Wikipedia. Okay, antigenic drift. So first we need to understand what is an antigen and what is an antibody. Okay, I'm going to say it like that. Antigen is anything that prompts an immune response. So an antigenic drift means that there is a tendency for a virus to learn how to defeat its opponent based on that opponent's ability to produce lots and lots of antibodies. This is a problem. So vaccinating condors could create a bunch of totally immune condors, or I'll tell you why this is very possible. It only took 10 exposures for ferrets, the virus that was in a pack of 10 ferrets. It only took 10 passes back and forth. They touched the sick ferret's nose to the nose of a healthy ferret, and it took 10 times. But by the 10th time, just 10, Emma, 10 passes, the virus had learned, it had evolved to become an aerosol. And it was 100% deadly against or 100% successful in passing for those 10 days. It infected every single ferret. The updated new version of this particular clade of North American H5N1 it came from a goose in China, but it somehow hopped over here. Our proposal here, and we cite a source that actually gives us this. We're not making this up. Is that migratory waterfowl, are the primary enzootic vector. Let me talk about what is this. What is enzootic? Well, that is the animal equivalent of the word endemic. ENDEMIC. Endemic, meaning pertaining to the nature of, or part of, a behavior pattern of, or within a certain geographical location, or following some certain behavior, or as a cluster among one particular type of animal. It's referring to some kind of aspect of the nature of what's going on. So enzootic just means that it has become more or less an established fact of how migratory waterfowl are. We're getting into this what is, right? That's called ontology. Ontology. What is? What is the nature of is? what does it mean to be, right? Well, what it means to be a migratory waterfowl bird, cranes or whatever the heck it is that these birds are basically 100% infected with the virus, but they don't get sick. They just host it, and then they shed, SHED, the virus when they go to the bathroom while they're flying. And up until this year and last year, the number one killer of California condors was lead poisoning from, American citizens hunting in the forest, and they're not shooting the condors with lead bullets or buckshot, but they're shooting deer and animals, they're shooting pigs and stuff. And the thing is, even a small quantity of lead will kill a condor. And it'll if it doesn't kill the condor, it'll do the same thing it does to humans, to condors, which is to make them sterile, to lower their immune response, and to basically make them dumb. It's kind of like eating a lobotomy. That's how I've seen it described. But now lead poisoning, well, this is very important. The military does not use lead in any of its shells or bullets or buckshot or whatever. So this is only like bullets that people buy at the store, at the gun store. They have lead in them. And there's this anti-lead campaign, but blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares about lead anymore because now the avian influenza is here. And yes, these birds have shown some ability to become vaccinated. You read here. Let's go back. If we go back here, we find that the vaccinations have been helpful in providing some immune support, and the vaccine itself is better than the one they had before. I'm trying to figure out where the heck. Okay, here it is. This is actually the article. Bird flu vaccine authorized to save California condors. And this is for humans. So there's a condor. All right. By the way, whenever you see it red like this, it means it's nervous. Okay, so that's that site I was telling you about, at APHIS, the Agricultural Research Service. Okay, so they tried out the vaccine trial in May 2023. As of May 12th, 21 condors have died. I think the number is now up to 27. Since the vaccine has not been tested against this strain of HPAI, the first step is to test the vultures. Now look at this. This is a problem. The authorized vaccine came from 2016. Here's the problem. This is the potential problem. If this vaccine is sort of effective, which it is, it's not like totally effective, it's sort of effective. It provides some immunity. What the heck does that mean? Well, that's a problem. It's not totally effective, so it sort of allows the virus to keep trying to defeat the immunity that the birds get from getting the vaccine. So, all a vaccine does is it's like dead virus stimulating an immune response, but there's not really any virus. So you have all these antibodies, and then if the birds that have that vaccine, which isn't really the right vaccine because it's based on a dead virus that was isolated in 2016, not 2023, and that was a long time ago. This is a completely different virus almost at this point. Well, at this point, if a condor has been given this particular vaccine, it's likely that the antigenic drift is going to eventually make the virus more powerful than the vaccine. So it sounds monstrous to say we shouldn't vaccinate the condors, but antigenic drift is making it look like that might actually end up hurting them more than helping them. It would be better if they didn't produce so many antibodies because that's what causes antigenic drift. Now, some antigenic drift can occur, uh, without antibodies, but that would just be more of like random mutations. Now, I did want to cover one thing: mutations and reassortant. So this is a reassortant virus, meaning it can reassort, and it's also a virus that doesn't check for errors as it replicates. So there's lots of random weird mutations that occur, and it gives this virus lots and lots of chances to be right, and it doesn't care, right? But it's kind of like it's not playing by the rules, see, because it's not error checking. Well, all animal cells, not virus cells. Animal cells, when they replicate or whatever, they have to error check. So the machines, the little DNA machines or whatever that code for new cells and produce new cells, they have to error check, but the virus doesn't. This one doesn't. Alpha influenza HPAI doesn't check, and so it replicates over and over and over again, but it doesn't really check and it doesn't care if it replicates properly. So sometimes it creates a kind of weird Frankenstein, and it doesn't matter. And if that Frankenstein actually is effective at overcoming the vaccinated condors, or it's effective at having a hemagglutinin be able to get into the cell, or it has a neuraminidase that's able to exit the cell, then that particular mutation will actually reproduce over and over and over again. So, yeah, that's kind of as fast as I could possibly talk. That is the update.